Well, no question, it's a benefit. We're playing great teams every single weekend, and most of them are ranked in the top 25. Many are ranked in the top 10. So it's feels the same kind of in terms of what the expectation is and how well we have to play and what kind of game we have to bring day in and day out. So it's nice to have that standard and that bar that doesn't change when you get into postseason.
Tori and Trinity, your last NCAA tournament as seniors. So how, is things different? How do you approach your last NCAA tournament? Maybe you first, Tori, since you got one more year on Trinity than Trinity.
I think it's a little bit different just solely because of the fact that we're hosting. My first 2 years, we had to go on the road for regionals, and it definitely did make a big difference. And being able to be here last year and host, it kind of gives you a little bit more familiarity with just how it's working and the schedule of things. And like even today we're doing practice at a certain time. You have your allotted time schedules. So it makes it a little bit more easier for me just to adjust to the scheduling and really working on just your preparation going into the game and being able to prepare for all three teams because you don't know what's going to happen. But I like hosting a lot more than going on the road. So we're glad we're here, and especially in this new stadium.
Tori, what has Trinity meant for this team this year, and what does it mean having her here at the regional this year?
She's been such a huge part of our team. I think it's crazy to think back our freshman year at summer camp when Coach brought her. It was funny. I had played third base at the time, and Coach was like, "Yeah, Trin, like this is your third baseman, Tori Vidales," and she was like, I was like, "Yeah, I got a mean curveball," and she was like, "All right, well, if you just hit the home runs, then I'll just pitch for us." And I was like, "I think we can work that out." But it's really cool to just see Trin's progression throughout these last 3 years, and she's been a very, very large part of our team for those 3 years, and especially coming back last year. She was super strong last year, and then being able to come back even stronger this year was a big part of her game. And I think it's tough for teams knowing that they have to come here that first night and face Trin, a real heavy drop ball pitcher, but I've loved having her next to me and just being able to kind of cheer her on when she gets nervous or anxious or whatever. I like being there to be able to help her get a good chuckle on the mound, and just being there to back her up. I think it gives her a little bit more confidence, and when she has the most confidence is when she's really on and no one can touch her.
Any more questions for the student athletes only? Colin?
I guess, Trinity, is there any more pressure for you guys at the first postseason tournament in the new stadium? Is there more pressure on you guys than this year, or than last year, I mean?
I think the great thing that Coach has done for us is have us really prepared for this upcoming tournament and having us prepared for the rest of postseason. But we're really taking regionals one game at a time. And I don't believe there's any pressure on us. I think we're very much ready for whatever's thrown at us. So I'm going in with no pressure. I mean, can I say the same for you?
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone, but I'm going in this as taking one pitch at a time and enjoying every moment I can with my team.
Anything else for student athletes? Rob?
Does it help that y'all got to experience a series before, in the new ballpark and getting all the new stadium jitters out of the way and being able to go out there this weekend?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think 100% it helped us so much to be able to play that opening weekend with Auburn. It's such a big difference with this stadium just because of the way it's set up, and the fans are a little bit closer. There's obviously a lot more room that you're working with, and just even position-wise, there's a lot more room to my left where I have to cover, or just making sure I know how the net plays. And then really just the outfield, it's a lot bigger for our outfielders to be able to do that. So being able to have that series under your belt has definitely been a huge help for us. And I think just being able to be out here and practice, but it's definitely a different environment when the fans get in there and they're rocking, they're trying to start all these cheers. And so really to get those butterflies out before, I'm sure there will still be a little bit more butterflies because that's just how the game goes. But I think it was definitely a huge help for us, and I'm definitely glad that we got to experience it before this weekend.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think when we played against Auburn in our series at Davis Diamond, we really established that this is our home stadium, and we can change from one stadium to this new stadium and be like, nothing has changed, this is ours, and we call it our own, even if the senior class only gets to play in it for a little while.
Trinity, for you going through the SEC, getting into postseason, how much does it prepare you when you see that kind of competition week in and week out?
It prepares me a lot because most of, like, obviously all of the SEC is in postseason. I think that's absolutely amazing, and congrats to all the other teams for making it to postseason. But also being in the SEC prepares me to go against the Big 12, the Big 10.
Big 12.
Big 12, sorry. I still get confused now since they've changed their numbers a little bit around. But it prepares me for those teams as well because they're very aggressive, just like the SEC teams are too.
Anything else? We'll dismiss our student athletes and open it up for questions for Coach Joe Evans.
Oh, no.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
You betcha.
Coach, speak the microphone a little bit closer.
Yes.
Questions for Coach Evans? Cease.
Joe, since you earned the #1 seed here, and any thoughts of maybe holding Trinity for Friday night, or what about your pitching plans?
Yeah, we definitely have a plan in place, and we plan on starting Shao and Smith and Harrington in these 3 games. I mean, ideally, we'd like to go through and win it in 3, and so we're prepared for what we want to do, and we're looking at matchups and see who matches up the best. So. I don't want to necessarily say who's throwing to who, but we do feel like we've got a really solid pitching staff that if our team plays well and we put up runs, that we should be able to have those 3 starters go out there and win games for us.
Coach, how have you seen Trinity make strides in her game from the Super Regionals last year and until now, and how might her game be different, or how might she be approaching the game different?
I think she's just more confident. I think she's less anxious about, I think for every player, and certainly pitchers, there's a little bit of anxiety involved at times, and if you think about the expectations and all of that. And I think for Trin, in her younger years, sometimes that would affect her game and how comfortable she was out there on the mound. And I think she's done such a great job to overcome that, to now really see it as these golden opportunities, and to just take advantage of being out there. So I think she just continues to mature and embrace the opportunities and not have them feel like the moment is too big. And I think she's done a great job with that.
Up here to the front row.
Coach Evans, can you talk about how last year you dropped the game with the Southeastern Conference tournament, and then you guys were able to flip the switch and then make a run all the way to the College World Series? Can you talk, what do you think the key was, and how can you make that happen again this season?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to not make that one game be too big, that one loss be bigger than any other loss that we've had. And, we kind of looked at it like, okay, here's the silver lining. We now get to go home and we get to rest for a couple of days. We took a couple of days off. We didn't see each other. We all went our ways and gathered ourselves. And as a coaching staff sat down and said, what would be a great practice plan for us for this next week so that we can be ready? And so because we were able to get rested, we were able to work harder at practice. So we had come from being in finals, going on the road. We had finals on Thursday morning, got on a plane that day and went to Tuscaloosa, played 3 games, got back Sunday night, finished finals on Monday, Tuesday, got on a plane Tuesday, and went and played in our SEC tournament that next day. So I just love that. The silver lining is, okay, let's take a break. And because we did that, we've worked really hard this week, and I wasn't worried our kids were going to be overextended, that physically and mentally and emotionally that they wouldn't be okay. I know they're ready to go. So that tournament, unless you win it, it could be a blessing that you leave early to get you ready for, what's most important is to be playing in the College World Series.
Obviously, you guys want to get through game 1, but just the opportunity to potentially play an old Big 12 rival in Baylor, I mean, what would that chance mean for you guys?
Yeah, we have a lot of respect for Baylor, and they've got a great program. They were at the College World Series last year with us, and they went on the road and had a huge upset at Arizona. So we understand their talent, we understand their history, and how good they are. So we understand that it would be a great opportunity for us, and that we'll have to play well to beat them. We don't often play Big 12 teams, and so this is, unique for us to play them, but not unique in postseason, because the last 2 years, we've seen Texas in postseason, so it's not unusual in postseason for us to see a Big 12 opponent. But it's been a while since we've played Baylor.
Coach, piggybacking on the last question, do you think that confidence boost and that maturation with Trinity happened about the Super Regionals last year, or when would you pinpoint that change?
I do. I think, when you had asked that and I was talking about it, when I finished, the thought in my mind was, I should have said that Super Regionals was when that maturation happened. And for her to come, she wasn't even with us at Regionals last year. And Sam Shaw did a great job to pitch us through that, and Lexi Smith. And then for Trin to come, and we lose the first game at Supers on the road, and then just be lights out the next 2 days. What she was going through at the time, with the loss of her father, and then with what could have felt like the weight of the world on her shoulders, she managed it so well. And I think having done that, she always has that in her back pocket. Look what I did when my dad passed away. Within a week, I was out on the mound. We had our back against the wall. We had to win 2 games, and I went out there and pitched those 2 games. So once you do that, that's something that you can hold on to for the rest of your career. And I think it's really made a difference for her.
Joe, who's going to step up to help Tori to avoid pitching around like Alabama? She's real hot, and I know you tinker with your lineup, but who maybe specifically, 1 or 2, has to step up?
Yeah, we really need Ashley Walters to step up behind her. We need, I think, in order for us to make a really great run in this postseason, we need Caitlin Alderink, Riley Sarton, and Kristen Koyas to have more quality at-bats. We are doing a great job at the top of our lineup. We are scoring. If we're scoring, it's those kids stepping up and doing their job at the top. We need that bottom half, that middle of our order, to get more comfortable and get some timely hits.